Minecraft is a game everyone is familiar with, or at least heard of its existence. Minecraft is a game where you and your friends can play in a sandbox that is entirely made up of blocks, rectangles, or shapes that are made up of pixels. What makes Minecraft so memorable to us, and why do we give it so much praise in the gaming community? I wanted to start this video a little bit differently, as this is going to be the final video, at least for a long while. I know this is a short-lived series of the Minecraft realm that was just made to recap on the entirety of what happened previously since we left off. And I'm not going to completely stray from that premise. I'm just going to give more insight into why we play Minecraft and just delve into why it's so important to us. Now, out of all these realms that I've played over the past years and all the friends that I've met since then, it's been quite an honor. I can't say it enough, and I kind of say it a lot. Y'all have probably heard me. And I just truly am so grateful for all the people I've played with in the past and the people I'm playing with now, new or old. It's just such a special time in my life, and I hope it's very important to y'all also. And I just want to thank y'all for being a major part of my life. Thank you. Let's get into the video. When it comes to Minecraft realms, we should be no stranger. We have found problems and solutions to our realms, and how they should be played and how people should act in them. When it comes to realms for me, it goes back to our first realm, which was made in February of 2021. It was called Oasis. Unfortunately, I do not have the world or any clips from that realm, but I can explain it for you. Alright, so hello y'all. We're gonna be get right into this. So this is the Oasis realm, and this was the realm in February of 2021. I pre-drawn it for y'all, so the video wouldn't take super long, because the last time I recorded it, I pre-drawn the realms, and that took like a straight 20 minutes of just yap sesh while drawing it, and I didn't really get into the meat of it. So anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping and kind of just get into the basis of this realm. So this realm was our first ever Minecraft realm within the friend group. During this time, our friend group was pretty small. It consisted of like probably like 5 people, not any more than that really. But this was our first realm, so it is pretty basic, and we basically played this realm without like just how the game was intended. No like extra like stuff and all that, you know. But later on you'll see how extra the realms get. But yeah, so basically right here, let's go left to right, and we'll explain all the houses and their significance to the realm. So first we got my house. Mine really didn't have a roof. I don't know why I drew it with a roof. I guess to kind of show that it was a house, but my house didn't have a roof, and it actually didn't even have like a ceiling in it. So it was just kind of like 4 walls and a floor in the middle of a forest, and the forest was like, I think it was oak. But yeah, basically I during this realm, I will confess I did steal a couple stuff from y'all. Let's see, I definitely stole some stuff from Caden's, maybe a little bit from Mahi's. I'm not too sure if I did from Ben or not, but if I did, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like something crazy, but really anything I stole wasn't too crazy. It was just like random crap that I, you know, thought was cool. But really I didn't steal from Dylan or Xander, because I was directly working with Xander at this time, and if I wanted something I could just ask him for it. And also Dylan, I don't know, I felt like if I stole from him it would be a lot of more consequence than if I got caught stealing from, you know, like these 3 guys. But yeah, this was a pretty small realm in comparison to our other realms, and even the next realm is quite bigger than this one, but it is still around the same, you know, industrious nature as this one. Have basically just kind of the house designs. I will say that uh, these houses were pretty cool because this was in February 2021, and this was forever ago. This is almost gonna be. Oh my gosh, dude! Oh come on! I always do that during these videos, and it gets on my nerves. I always click the right thing, but yeah, it'll almost be 4 years. That's insane in February. But yeah. So basically, my house, I kind of stole some stuff. It was in the forest. This is Dylan's old house. I'm pretty sure this is the creeper hole realm where Evan. Where's little Evan at? Bro, where's Evan? I don't think Evan was in this room actually. I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was. But yeah, Dylan's house, he burnt it down and made a new one on stilts. Ben had a bunker and he also had a house. This is the shopping district. It's where we kind of just, sold goods and had shops. It was kind of like a line of shops, and it was kind of like, like blocks are in a city, like that's kind of how it was. And then Caden's treehouse, I don't remember exactly what Caden did, but I'm pretty sure he cheated in a way. He either stole some stuff or he cheated within the game. But either way, we burnt down his treehouse and he kind of got exiled. But I don't think we really forced. Actually, I can't confirm that here. I just know that he kind of left after we burnt his thing down. But he didn't really get on that much anyway. But when he did, he wreaked havoc on the realm. And there's a little bridge here going over to the shopping district. Then we have a bridge leading from Dylan's house to the shopping district, and there's this little nether portal. Yeah, Xander's castle. Xander loved building castles. You'll see kind of let's see, a pattern in the way Xander builds things. It usually is like either a castle, a temple, some sort of old like architectural building that was used, like medieval like temples, stuff like that. But anyway, when he builds them, they're really cool, and it actually adds a lot of really cool stuff and creativity to the realm, which is pretty cool. We got Mahi's house. This right here, you're probably wondering what the heck is this? Is this like Patrick's house? But no, this is she had a house in the side of a mountain. It was actually pretty cool also, and it had a water elevator, and you could go up in it, and it's like you're in the mountain. It was really cool. It was also super aesthetic, so it was probably like Dylan's house, decorative wise. And then you got little Ben's house. So basically, I don't remember a lot of stories from this realm other than the main one being Caden's treehouse getting burned down and basically getting exiled. But I mean, this is Oasis, February 2021 realm, first ever realm. The problem is that I can't show it to you because it got corrupted when Dylan tried to transfer it from a Switch to his computer, and it literally corrupted the file on the Switch, and it didn't even go through to the computer, so we don't even have this room anymore, which is sad. But this is what it looked like. I had to actually team up with Dylan to make sure that everything was as accurate looking as possible. I mean, obviously the scale isn't too good, but it's what it looks like if you're looking at it from like a top-down view sort of. But yeah, that's it, and let's get on to it. Unfortunately, this realm I also do not have a file for, so I've pre-drawn it for y'all, and it is Smell, and this was made in August of 2021, and it was right after the Oasis realm. But I'm going to go over it with y'all on paper, and yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so this is Smell. This was August of 2021, which wasn't very later than the Oasis realm, but it is the second realm of our realm series. So this is Smell. So basically, Smell was actually pretty cool. It consisted of more like, I would say, symmetrical type builds with the shopping district, which was used in the last realm and had the same exact like shape and usage. It was just much larger than the last one. Also, I built a fort which had walls and had my house, had like a little tool shed sort of, and then had an underground. It was like an underwater like secret area that held a bunch of my like goodies underground. But basically, it was like there was a farm here, and you know how farms are. It's like a row of like crops, and then you have water, a row of crops, and then water. Well, on one of those row of water, in like on the end, had a little hole there in the ground, and we went under it, and it led into the goodies of my fort. But also, if you're wondering what this thing is right here, that is the rose. I forgot. It was like the rose of life or something of that nature. But the rose of life, it was like you had to donate to it. And if anybody broke the rose, they would be like killed or something. I don't know. It was a punishment or like a curse or something. But basically, you had to give offerings to the rose. It seemed kind of cultish, but it wasn't like mainstream within the realm. It lasted for like a day, and then it just sat through the rest of the realm. But I thought I would mention it since it was pretty significant, and it was also pretty funny. Not gonna lie, but we also in this realm started incorporating railways. As you can see, there was a railway that led from basically this is the main area. This is a kind of, there would be a forest around here, and there would be a forest like all in this kind of area or like that. But this was kind of like fields, and I guess forest would be like over there and kind of down here. But anyway, Xander had his fort. His fort, I think it sported. It was gonna sport a castle, or it did. But yeah. He had a bridge slash railway, and you could ride the cart, here or back here to my base. But yeah, either way, we tried to incorporate faster transportation from one side of the realm to the main side of the realm, so that you could get around easier. Also, I would say one of the most crazy events that happened in this realm was with Dylan's house getting burnt down by Xander's brother Roman. So Roman, basically, I remember this pretty vividly because I talked to him about it. He actually made an account of mine, but it was like the same name and same profile picture, but he made the numbers different, and nobody really noticed that the numbers were different on my username. And when he joined, they're like, "Oh, Jay joined," and I guess they were asking me to get on like a call or something, but I never did because, well, it wasn't me, it was Roman. And then Roman basically kind of just snuck his way in, got some flint and steel, and burnt Dylan's house down and framed me for it. But everybody kind of figured out about halfway through the event that it wasn't me, and that the numbers were wrong, and that it was totally someone else. And they were pretty, I don't know if they were confused or if they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's Roman," but I think Xander probably said that it was Roman or something like that, which, you know, we banned him like immediately. But Dylan's house went down pretty harshly. There's also Lucas's house here by the railway, not in the shopping district, but around it. And you got Evans Tower. I don't remember exactly what Evans Tower looks like, but it kind of looked, I guess, kind of like, I don't know, but It was a tower. That's all y'all need to know. And then, yeah, Evan's in this room. This room, definitely, for sure. But yeah, and then you got the shopping district. We had like a food, like a restaurant, and then there was a police station. There's some other things like a farm, like an indoor farm, but there's some other stuff like Evan's like berries or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember that well, but I don't know if it was this realm or yeah, it was this room because Evan was in this room. But basically, what we did is Evan had a shop in his shopping district, and what we did is we placed campfires under his ground, under his flooring. So we took his flooring out. We dug like 2 blocks under his flooring and put campfires on that ground, and then put his floor back. And the fire went through the ground, so it looked like his house was burning down from the outside, which was pretty funny. And when he got on, he was freaking out. Like, he was absolutely just cheesing, bro. And, yeah. But then he figured out it was campfires and it was all good. But I thought that was really funny. Let's see some other important events that happened. Yeah, I remember one time we locked Evan into prison and kept him there for a while. That's pretty hard. But anyway, we locked him in there, and the police station, that was just some screwing around. I remember that. And yeah, we got Ben's house over here. I don't remember Ben's house, what it looked like. I didn't even remember that Ben had a house in this area, but Dylan told me there was, and he actually has the file of the world so he can look at it on the Switch. But like I said, it's on his Switch, and the last realm got corrupted because he did that, so I'm not going to make him try and convert it onto his laptop to send to me because, well, I would rather be able to look at the realm again besides corrupting it forever. So, yeah, this is Smell. This is August of 2021. And yeah. You got Dylan's house, Xander's Fort. We incorporate railway systems. There's more people joining the realm. And more shenanigans, I guess. I can remember from this realm. I don't know. We were pretty silly though. And yeah, that's what I remember about this realm. Now we can get into the realms that I can show you all. Our third realm was called Catastrophe Realm of 2022, and this realm marked the start of a government-based realms that had 2 towns but united through a government system of rule and law. The first town consisted of my town where Julie and I lived and was pretty much the headquarters of the government. This town consisted of a barracks, farms such as crops and animals, a restaurant, a place to buy food, and some other underground tunnel system that I was probably going to use as a mine or just another cool build, but regardless I didn't finish it. In the other town it consisted of 2 houses and a mine, on one side with a bridge leading to a mine and a couple more houses and some farms. These consisted of Dylan's and Evan's houses. Then there was also Ben's house, which was fairly close to mine. There was also an oddly placed object in the sky next to Dylan's house. At first, I had thought that Dylan was building a shipwreck in the sky as a project, but after talking to Dylan about it, it was apparently a glitch where the game generated half of the shipwreck in the sky and half of the shipwreck in the water. Dylan explained that the blocks going up to the floating part of the shipwreck was just him going to get a closer look of the glitch and not trying to build it in the sky, which I thought was very interesting. The realm overall was meant to explore what Minecraft had to offer by incorporating new ways of playing the game. The last 2 realms were just an uncomplex way of playing Minecraft realm. That is how it is supposed to be played, but we wanted to see how far we could go down the rabbit hole. The realm's government was a success, but only because it was difficult to enforce and no one really paid much mind or enthusiasm towards the concept at this time. And it wasn't anything tyrannical, it was just like the normal realms, but with a slight sense of nationalism attached. One very interesting thing about Catastrophe Realm was that after it ended and died, I wanted to make a world solely based off that realm, because in the realm, hear me out guys, it was supposed to be a revival of Nazi Germany. Yeah, little old me didn't know how much controversy was behind that regime. Either that or I didn't care, but apparently I admired the cool designs and cool color coding of the Second World War Germany, and I took inspiration off of that to build a government, no atrocities attached. You're probably thinking, I should feel condemned and utterly ashamed of such a time period to take my inspirations from, out of thousands of years of civilizations and hundreds of countries, but I chose Nazi Germany. Because I was a Second World War fanatic and wanted to steal their style. Not because I actually believed in their ideologies, but because they just looked cool. My intentions were not to glorify them either, even though little or me didn't care about the history behind them, and would rather like to go get a Vermont Minecraft skin off of the Google Play Store to feel cool. Basically, that's all. It was just so you are not calling me a neo-Nazi or a supporter of the long-defeated infamous Third Reich. So with that out of the way, let's get back to it. So with the idea of building a government and trying to make a cool-looking world, I set off to fetch Dylan to help me build it. And side by side, since around mid-2022, the concept was to recreate the invasion of Normandy Beach and to create a small-scale, highly improvised, with lots of creative liberty, PvP map that allowed you to storm the beaches in Normandy by either jumping out of a C-110 plane onto the beach or by driving a boat onto the shore. To this day, we are still working on it, and it is the biggest and longest lasting creative map that I've ever created. Some people have helped a little in the world, but not really a dedicated amount like Baron, Evan, and Lucas. The next realm is the 2023 Minecraft realm. It didn't have an extraordinary name by no means, but this realm consisted of two different towns but still one nation. The concept of a government had no influence on this realm and was more of a test realm before the new update came out that consisted of Dylan's house and a circular farm with a tree in the center of town. There were two houses and a barn that housed animals. One of these houses was made for Caden by Dylan, but Caden had left the realm and stopped playing, which was probably for the best, since Caden was using cheats to fly and giving himself diamond tools. There was also a village next to Dylan's houses. For the other town, it consisted of Lucas's castle, my house, and Baron's house, with a nether portal and a farm and a treehouse platform that was Justin's next to Lucas's cobblestone castle. There was also a lush cave mine that was enormous, and Ben's house, which was near this town, but it was a little far away. The next realm that we had started to reincorporate a governmental system and build a structured hierarchy of power and rules. This realm was right after the Minecraft realm of 2023 ended, and the new realm, or summer realm, was called Fernsworth. This realm is pretty big compared to the 2023 Minecraft realm. This realm actually was highly influenced by a governmental system. At first the realm was just one large settlement until we wanted to create a faction-based realm. The people who left to go make the new faction were Evan, Caden, and Aiden. The new faction would move out of Fernsworth around 500 blocks away. The new faction was called PC Town. On the other side, the government of Fernsworth, we decided that there should be an ultimate leader called the mayor, and this mayor, once elected by majority vote, would have the most of the power to make decisions unless it was a decision that could really impact the server. Then we had a council meeting at City Hall and took a vote to what the decision should be. There were also different governmental positions that our server had to offer, such as the mayor's assistant, who basically would advise the mayor on what the general population of the server thought collectively, so that the mayor could make decisions that benefited the people, and also help the mayor from creating enemies. There was also other jobs, like a judge, who would make decisions correlating to crimes and decided on what the persons who broke the law's punishment would be. Usually these punishments would be jail time, which can range from 5 minutes to hours depending on the severity of the crime. After the person is sent to jail, it is the jailer's responsibility to keep the amount of time that the person is in jail and to release them when their time has been served. We've had issues in the past with people trying to leave the game and count that as serving their time, what is an exception is that the person has to stay in the game in a designated cell, but the real life person doesn't have to stay in place or even communicate. They can do something else, but their in-game character must be in the jail cell designated to them. There have also been punishments where people have been banned or kicked from the server for an amount of days, but those punishments only given if the person refuses to cooperate either their sentence or if they burn down someone's house on the server or the realm. Those are the only crimes that can get you a ban or a long-term kick that would be handed out to a player. There are also other jobs such as lawyers, a builder, and business owners that had shops. The jobs to the people were of the following of the 2023 Fernsworth server: me as mayor, Lucas as the mayor's assistant, Baron as the judge, Xander as the jailer, Dylan as the builder. With the addition and heavily implementing of a sound and structured government system, there was also a high sense of nationalism, and this materialized a group known as the ROF. It was first interpreted as Reich of Fernsworth that wanted to incorporate the cool look of the Second World War German Army's design, with the main logo consisting of a Luftwaffe eagle with the made-up symbol. The modified logo was simplified with just a circular logo as the model, and soon after the ROF was renamed the Republic of Fernsworth, as public opinion within the group didn't want it to be linked to fascism or a tyrannical past of Germany. This was due to new people joining the friend group, and we didn't want the backlash. The change was advised by Xander that we should change it, and this change happened on the Oakenthorn realm when our friend group started growing a significant amount. I was not entirely sure what his motives were, but it was either he wanted something different or that Reich was something that people would not like their Fernsworth government to be named after. Then we casted a vote, and the majority wanted change. I wasn't too enthusiastic because I thought Reich sounded cooler, but I wasn't considering the history the name had tied to it, so with the change in the name of the ROF. So with the context of this new realm, we can get on to what actually happened. When Eli first joined Fernsworth, he had told me that his cousin should join the realm. This was when Fernsworth was united and PC Town didn't exist yet. I was skeptical at first, because I've heard Eli's cousin's destructive nature on Minecraft realms. Eli assured me that his cousin wouldn't cause any harm to the realm. I took his word for it and gave his cousin a chance. The first couple of days Eli's cousin was on the realm, he was kind of wandering around and didn't cause any trouble. Then I decided to get on a call with Eli and his cousin. It was all good until Eli's cousin started threatening to burn down the realm. I thought he was just joking and just trying to see what I'd do. I played it off and let him know the consequences so that he couldn't say that it wasn't fair if he did do anything. The next day, I let everyone personally in Fernsworth know to keep a close eye on Eli's cousin, and I wasn't too sure if he would take action or not. After a little while, Evan told us that someone had built a poorly built house under his bridge and gave it a 1 out of 10. Get out! Just kidding, but Evan did not like that there was an unknown build under his bridge, so with no one claiming it, he tore it down. Then after, I got on another call with Eli and his cousin, as Eli told me that his cousin might actually take action against the realm. So I joined the call, and Eli's cousin was mad that someone had tore down his house. Then it struck me that the build was Eli's cousin's. He genuinely seemed mad that someone tore it down, but I explained that it was on Evan's property and that it was an odd place to build. Eli's cousin was hard to reason with, as anything that I explained to him wasn't taken as a valid answer. Then he threatened to burn down the realm again, which this time all we had to do is wait for him to take action and he'd be gone, as we could reload the file save and if something were to happen. Then, while I was at church, my phone started going off, and when I checked it, sure enough, it was a picture of the entire realm burnt down. I looked to see what everyone was saying, and surely enough, it was Eli's cousin who burned it down, and that they banned him and reset the save file of the realm. But that we didn't have to worry about Eli's cousin's antics anymore. The group was also very close of getting rid of Eli, as he was the one who recommended him and didn't make sure that he kept his cousin in check. But with a decisive debate, we let him stay and took the blame, as I was the one who promised the group that nothing bad would happen, even when knowing Eli's cousin's history. They wouldn't ban me, so I took the blame to ensure that Eli wouldn't get banned either, as Eli didn't have bad intentions. The only downside is that if multiple people within the friend group didn't directly know a person, they weren't allowed to join the realm just because someone says they won't cause trouble. Now back to when Fernsworth split up into two factions. There were other things going on with the formation of the new PC town. It had grown into two houses, one being Evan's and one being Caden's. They also had an iron farm and a villager farm. It was in Evan's best interest to keep peace between the factions. The people of the ROF didn't pay much mind, but me and Eli were on a mission for the ROF. We dug an underground tunnel system under the castle leading to a mountain that was next to PC town. We placed TNT launchers hidden inside the trees facing his house, that if he were to start a war, we had some firepower behind us. We did this because Evan had been saying that he could defeat us all and kill us easily. He was using this tactic either to try and bring a solid peace agreement or to come back to Fernsworth. We were becoming fed up and we were waiting for him to do slightly out of line. He started grading people's houses from a scale of 1 to 10, which annoyed most people, and he just went about minding his own business. I had also created an underground tunnel system that was under the city hall. This was made to hold governmental files that would be used to keep records of people's personal information within the realm, such as what crimes this person has committed or who they are, and just things that can help the ROF better understand the people within its boundaries. This was never put into action though, as there was just a massive dugout cavern under the town hall, which served no purpose, but it had caused some issues as its existence had to be concealed from the general public, and its massive interior wasn't very hidden from holes in the surrounding terrain. This issue led to me grinding for days during the night to create a dam to cover up this hole so that no one would try and dig into the side of the mountain to discover my project. And also, this was the home of Linda, the Iron Golem, that was created by Dylan. I had also smelted stacks of cobblestone so that I could use the stone to cover up a gaping cavern located behind my castle that basically showed the project. After I had finished covering up the wall, I had decided to take a well-deserved break and just work on my castle, which I had created a potion shop and a mob farm, and I was also working on the castle walls, but I never finished them. The realm overall was pretty chill and tame as me and Eli had set up our surprise TNT launchers in our secret tunnel, but when I got back one day, I decided to see how things were going, and it turns out Evan had bought Xander's house, one of the first constructed builds on the realm, for like 10 diamonds, which created two problems. One, Evan now can basically live in Fernsworth, or we'd have to kick him out and declare war, and two, this can allow Evan to try and gain the peace treaty much easier and try and overthrow the ROF, which he didn't want to be a part of. So with me and Eli, we kept her cool and let him stay until we thought the time was right. One other day, we were on a call with Dylan, who was at Fernsworth, while me and Eli were trying to sneak into Evan's base and duplicate some armor templates that were in PC Town, so that we didn't have to go and search for them. As we were riding our way through the long tunnels, I wondered what if Evan had joined and was wondering where we are, but I shrugged it off, as Evan usually didn't get on this late. Then as we reached the end of the tunnel and made our way up the stairs, we went to go look at his base and we found the templates. Once we duplicated them, we headed back to the mountain, and right as we were making our way down the stairs of the tunnel, Evan joined. We were frightened at first, but when he asked where we were, we didn't respond. We then kept making our way through the tunnel, trying to get back to Fernsworth before he noticed where we were. Then, he typed in the chat that he could see us on a locator map and that we were flying through the ocean, but he couldn't find us. I'm glad he didn't assume we had a giant rail system connecting to the towns, but with him on our tail, we decided to strategically leave the realm one by one until the next day, where we could get back home safely without being trailed. We did usual trips on our secret tunnel to see how Evan was doing, to make sure he wasn't up to no good, and to keep our powers safe. We defeated the Ender Dragon quite a while ago, and Evan had obtained Elytras, which had made our traversing through the world pretty difficult. Also the fact that he had explored a 10,000 block radius around the end and took all the loot also didn't help our cause, and pretty much everyone didn't agree with PC Town's actions on the realm. People were getting fed up and expressed it through the group chat to others that people couldn't obtain the materials they needed. With this, Evan had controlled a monopoly on end loot, and especially at Elytras, which this newfound opportunity, Evan opened up a shop using Xander's house, which had us keeping an even closer eye on Evan. Even though Evan was using this monopoly to gain prominence within Fernsworth, we couldn't do much as no one was in it to win it against Evan, and that a war would cause a huge disinterest within the realm, and that Dylan had advised me not to. So, I let it go, and we stopped our trips to PC Town. We left behind future projects where we were going to control sea routes from PC Town by creating islands that would connect to the underground tunnel and be used as checkpoints. Me and Eli stopped holding meetings and we gave up on the realm almost altogether, as without majority support of Fernsworth, there was no sure way to set things back to normal. Within this period, Eli had created a PvP realm, which was very short-lived. but that played a basically like a realm that you could do anything, no rules applied, and we played on that for a while. This was open to the server, and anyone could join it who was a part of the friend group. It wasn't very popular, but me and Eli got right to work and constructed a simple island that wasn't the best spot to have a PvP realm, but we went with it. We had made only a couple rules, that teams couldn't exceed teams of 4. The team in which me and Eli had picked was with Xander and Dylan, which they didn't play too much, which Evan did not like at all. He kept going on that if he wasn't on our team, that he'd just have to kill us, which was the premise of the realm. We said that we already had our teams, and Evan's scare tactic was not giving him the 1 out of 4 spot. He most likely made it his absolute goal, though, to find us in some shape or form. Me and Eli grinded to find gear and tools, and we also built up our island walls. Evan had also bonded teams with Richard, which after around 2 days, Evan and Richard had defeated the Ender Dragon and gotten full diamond. It was insane to think that someone could grind that much, but we weren't as efficient. We just wanted to play PvP. Me and Eli had also found someone's house and flooded it, and then we made our way back to our island base. I had to get off for around an hour or two and asked if Eli didn't mind if he could watch the base while I was gone to make sure that nothing happened. He agreed and I got off. After a while, when I was about to get back on the world, I decided to check my phone to make sure that nothing went down. I wasn't expecting anything, but I was wrong. Eli had said that Evan and Richard had invaded the base and killed Eli and took the stuff and burnt part of the island down. Eli also said that he told them that if they didn't give the stuff back, he'd tell me, which Eli didn't keep up his end of the promise, but then yet again, that was a dumb decision on their move. So they gave back the stuff and left. So when I got back on, I noticed around to check the damages, it was bad. He told me that they had maxed out diamond weapons and armor, which at the time I didn't know, so it was pretty impactful at the time. After a little while, they came back. Oh my gosh, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment from saying this, but they wanted to come back and make a peace treaty. I absolutely just about went insane. They had us pinned up with maxed out armor while I was the only had a diamond sword and no armor because we spent more time in our base, and when they got onto the island they refused to elaborate about their previous invasion of the island. I wish they could have just killed us there and been done with it, which I would have been fine with, but they went on about trying to make peace, and while doing so was trying to reconstruct our house. These people ruined the entire premise of the realm, and after they got off, me and Eli got into a creative world of the realm and went to try and find their base to try and clap back, but when we didn't find one and decided to call it quits on the PvP realm because we were tired of peace enforcements. Back on the Fernsworth realm, some more buildings were constructed when me and Eli got back on, such as the Spleef Arena, Xander's Egg Home, and Dylan's Sky Island. This was during the decline of the realm and where it would really start to lose traction. People started to stop playing as it was getting closer to the school year coming back in session, and that the only driving factors of the realm were now Spleef and minor building projects, and Baron's monkey fights. Can't forget those were awesome. During this time that Spleef became popular, there needed to be a steady supply of snow blocks to use, and there just so happened to be a mountain that had tons of snow that was close to town. But Evan had a house built inside the mountain, and Evan didn't like that people were coming over to his mountain and taking all the snow, which was replenishable. So, I mean, you could call it petty, but whatever. That was on top of the mountain. I'm guessing he wanted the mountain base to look good at the time. This caused a dispute between the people who like Spleef and just Evan. For reference, Evan's mountain that he claimed was like a 200 by 200 block radius, and he didn't want to share it, but people still decided to collect the snow from the mountain for Spleef anyways. The monkey fights, though, that I had mentioned earlier, was basically hide-and-go seek tag, where one person is a monkey, and they get a certain amount of time to hide, and then after the time is up, the rest of the participating players would try and find and kill the monkey. This was done with no armor and sticks. This was pretty fun to play during the later parts of the realm, when the realm was starting to die. The next realm on the list is Oakenthorn. This realm was after Fernsworth, and during the winter, people wanted to start a new realm during the winter. This realm was the peak of the ROF influence on the realm. The first major build of Oakenthorn was a stone courthouse that was the center of Oakenthorn during the early parts of the realm. This was mainly due to the creation of propaganda posters that gave more voice to the form of government. There was people who supported it, such as Lucas, Baron, and Xander. Then with the new election, of who would get certain positions on the realm, the people of the following got these jobs. So, it's Xander as mayor, me as vice mayor, but technically I was kind of like the mayor assistant. There was no jailer in this realm, but Ryan was the executioner, Dylan is the builder, and obviously Baron is the judge. Baron's always the judge. I should be the judge. But anyway, there being Xander as the mayor of Oakenthorn and me as vice mayor, it was much easier to incorporate the ROF into this winter realm. Especially with Xander's election speech, which we had finally shed light on the ROF and put its rule into action. Unlike Fernsworth, we decided to make this realm just one combined power. Even though I tried really hard to make it two factions, no one wanted to go through what had occurred on Fernsworth. Especially with the divide, it caused tensions to rise much easier and prevented people from having fun, which was the whole point of starting the realms anyway. The main builds on the realm was the courthouse, town hall, Dylan's iconic willow tree build, Xander's temple, and such that contributed to the great look that Oakenthorn has. There being a rise in popularity within the ROF and the friend group. To be a part of it, you must first get permission to join and explain how you can contribute to the cause. There were other people though that didn't like the ROF, that it shouldn't have an organization for a government, but just a mayor and put the ROF behind. This was due to the past experiences these people had with the ROF and that they didn't like the organized nature of it. There were also others who wanted to control the realm and overthrow the ROF, which didn't happen. But I also made ranks for the ROF and different branches for people within Oakenthorn to specialize in. These were never put into action, as by the time I had figured out ranks and branches, people became disinterested in the ROF. This was due to odd things I had tried to implement, such as the ranks in militarized borders, which were taken down. This is just a small part of what was going on in Oakenthorn, and many other things that had happened during the realm that would raise a lot more controversy than that was being discussed previously. Before Gang City, Brody was also known to cause trouble within Minecraft realms. One day, Oakenthorn got burnt down, and everyone suspected Brody was the reason for it, and that Jacob was involved too. It was settled in court, and Brody was let off light, as he was required to do community service, while Jacob got away with his crimes because we didn't know at the time whether or not he was truly involved. When Brody was doing his community service, he told us that he was doing a rail system project that would help getting around Oakenthorn much easier and quicker as forgiveness for burning down the realm. We appreciated his gesture to benefit the realm and didn't think he'd cause any more trouble. How wrong were we? If only we had more than 2 brain cells with our whole friend group, then we know that Brody was up to no good. And guess what? People started noticing that their stuff was going missing. Oh my god, and that they couldn't figure out who had stolen their stuff. Well, after a while, we finally caught on that Brody, oh my gosh, this is insane, was behind the whole operation. Turned out Brody wasn't building an underground transportation system at all. He was building a bunker to hide all the stolen goods he has accumulated. There was also another incident that had occurred on the realm. Evan's house got burned down individually. What happened is that when everyone was off the realm, Eli told me that he was going to burn Evan's house down. His defense was that nobody liked Evan's house. I was on the world with him when it occurred, but I was at my castle working on my towers. I was on the call with him when he did it, and I was okay with it just this once, because the damage isn't permanent, and then it's been a while since anyone has gotten progress besides me, which I hadn't done very much. So I watched from the distance as Evan's house went up in the flames. Then after it was mostly burned down, we left the realm. The only problem is that Dylan could check who was on when the certain things happened, so he knew me and Eli were both on when Evan's house went down. So with this knowledge, I watched the group chat go off with someone saying that someone had burnt down Evan's house. Then after a long chat of me watching from the sidelines, they concluded that Eli was going to be banned for his actions and that he wasn't coming back. But this was his intentions, because he didn't want to play on the realm anymore and just wanted to go out with a bang. The only funny thing is that not a single soul thought it was me. Yeah, they knew I was on the same time as Eli, but when they asked me about it, I bent the truth and said I was at my castle working on the towers, and they took my word for it. And if it weren't for this segment in the video, no one would have ever known I was directly involved. Overall, with the ROF I had talked about earlier, it had dissolved by the end of the realm, and it never gained prominence again in the realms. Lucas also was very needy on this realm, and was very frequently asking Dylan for help on some of the most basic tasks. And some fun facts that Oakenthorn was Keegan's first time on the realm within the friend group. So, like the others, Oakenthorn slowly lost its players and stopped playing until the summer realm, Gang City. I would like to say personally that this is just Minecraft, and this shouldn't be taken personally, as this is just a game. So if any of y'all are going ballistic over some of the things I've done in these realms that y'all thought I've never would have done, well, at least I'm telling them to you and being honest with it. But then again, I shouldn't have done those things and I should have owned up. But it's just Minecraft, and I didn't think that y'all would get mad. So that's why I'm telling it here. And I thought y'all would think it's pretty funny that there was more to it than just it was Eli, or it was more than a second dimension Joel like story, But I just wanted to get that out of the way because I didn't want any of y'all, after watching this, going like crazy on me for doing some of this stuff when it's kind of actually crazy. But I'm glad to tell y'all. So let's get on to Gang City. Since the last video, the realm has taken quite a bit of change, not just visually through the creation of new builds and the appearance of some, but also how the realm culturally and socially changed. If I remember correctly, the last video only covered the June 10th. Wow, that was quite a bit ago. But since then, the creation of my law firm, the half-built creation of Brody's Mansion, and the creation of Xander's Arena, Richard's Village, Jacob's House, Xander's Capital, and Caden's Bunker, and with the destruction of things such as Evan's house as protest, Lucas's old house that got stolen and refurbished to serve as a file room for my law firm, also unfinished things such as Brody's Mansion and my castle and its walls. There was a change in the realm almost culturally and socially with the addition of a bunch of Baron's friends starting to join the realm that were teasing Evan and causing trouble that would lead to many court hours of court cases of protests that would spark a division in Gang City for a short amount of time. There were two gangs. One gang was called the Peaky Blinders, basically Baron and his allies and me and my allies, and the other gang that was Evan and his allies, which Evan wanted to call Yakuzi, but the people in Evan's gang thought that name was silly and didn't agree with it. This division didn't spark any war or fights, but mostly ended up with satire group chat arguments of who is better. Once this phase ended around 2 days, this is where people did their own thing, and this is the start of the decline of Gang City. If you haven't heard of the 2-week Minecraft phase, it's basically where you and your friend group are hyped to play Minecraft. But after around 2 weeks, it begins to feel like a chore to play, and people decide not to get on as frequently as they used to. Eventually, people will stop playing. This results in the death of an unaccountable amount of realms per year, and is responsible for hours. After this new formation and fall of the two gangs of Gang City, it caused an almost immediate disinterest in the realm. Only around 3 or 4 people would be on at most compared to the 6 to 7 people at least. Only about 3 days later, and after around 3 weeks, the realm was dead. Only was there one person playing when others weren't, our old companion Brody. Oh, you didn't know well so much about justice served when we let Brody the Mastermind back into the realm. But this wasn't due to bad judgment or even by mistake. We genuinely thought that having Brody back onto the realm would make Baron and his friends calm down as they begged for Brody's return. This allowed Brody to rejoin the realm, and he did his own thing and didn't cause any further trouble. Baron also had made a questionable dungeon for things I can't say on YouTube, but you get the gist. Baron was luring people into the dungeon and trapping them in there, and about it. Ugh. Before getting into the conclusion of the Gang City realm, I want to go off topic a little bit and explain more in depth the opening questions of this video. So with that, let's do it. The song Sweden is a song we have heard more times to count. When we play through a Minecraft world, we do the usual. We gather materials, build a house, obtain weapons and armor, and defeat the Ender Dragon. A cycle we have also done more times to count. Minecraft is a game of repetition and a game of endless possibilities. You can defeat the Ender Dragon, yes, but there is so much more than Minecraft. From building houses and redstone contraptions as far as the eye can see, or to set personal goals, such as defeating the Wither, or in more modern Minecraft, the Warden. Things like these add so many possibilities that Minecraft intends us to explore. Like I said, you can go and defeat the Ender Dragon, and the game will pat you on the back, but it takes the player's initiative to go to the lengths and explore and become ever so powerful in the world that they are placed in. And amidst all these struggles and triumphs is the Minecraft soundtrack that follows your every move. The very song that is playing in this background of this video had some sort of effect on you. It made you feel a certain way. Whether it was happiness or sadness, Sweden and so many others have shaped the way we view Minecraft and how we view the world we live in. Minecraft teaches us that the world is unforgiving, but that we as humans can mold it to our advantage and thrive off of just our ideas. You may not know this, but Minecraft is based around possibilism. Possibilism states that the environment sets limitations on culture, but that humans ultimately determine how they will respond to those limitations. Minecraft displays this theory almost flawlessly. Yes, there is limitations such as monsters that haunt the night, caves and alternate dimensions the player must explore, but you as the player have the freedom to fight against those monsters, defeat them, and beat the game. This is what is intended, but what drives my point home is not just that you can go beyond those limits, but that the music that you play with from beginning to end is what helped drive you to do all these things. Sweden, Mice on Venus, oh my gosh, Minecraft to name a few, is a symbolism of the human will. Minecraft's soundtrack also goes in order that represents your journey. From key to end is a beautiful and it really conveys what really represents Minecraft and the journey you are expected to take. Minecraft doesn't just give you a catchy and calm tune. It helps you grind those all-nighters with the friend group. It helps remind you that this is possible. It helps remind you of once what was and what can be. Minecraft is truly a masterpiece. Towards the very end of the realm, everybody knew it was dead, but we wanted to play one last time and defeat the Ender Dragon. So we all decided on a collective time we could all get on and play, and we did. We got on our best gear and our weapons and made our way to the stronghold. We traversed by mobs and water and trees and villages. Once we got to the stronghold, we dug and searched for a portal. It took a while as we got lost and we were hitting dead ends, but finally we found the portal and we had everything. But Brody, who was supposed to have the Eyes of Ender, he was one short, and we decided to get off and fool with it another day. When we did get back on, we finally got the remaining Eye of Ender, and when the portal lit, we stood there and watched the void that we would soon jump into. We all looked at each other, then back at the portal, then we all jumped in. We spawned in a box of endstone that we mined out of, and when we reached the surface, we ran across the vast area of the island, surrounded by endless void, and in the middle of the island were the obsidian pillars that we had to climb to prevent the dragon from healing. But instead, we all gathered around the center where the dragon lands, and we hit him to death. The dragon stood no chance. We had obtained victory, but at what cost? Many of us had died, including me, and after the victory, Baron paid his respects to the soldiers he had fought in battle with and against in Gang City. So one last time, he looked into the stars and fell into the darkness, never to be seen again. The world is empty and still. The animals wander aimlessly forever. The garden stands still, never to be harvested. The courthouse will never hear another gavel on its podium. The phantoms will fly, never to serve their purpose. The mines will stand untouched, and their secrets with them. Armors on their gallant stands will never be touched again. The sky will stay frozen, and so will the memories of the world and its contents. From the first block mined to the last block placed, we all look from the heavens, and we nod our heads in assurance that it all wasn't for nothing. So we shake hands and leave the world behind, moving on as we always have. And I speak these words to you. Minecraft will never be forgotten, and it will never be missed, because we never quit playing. We just take very long breaks. Thank you.